guys, it's Jen from Peanut Butter Runner. Happy Friday. I'm going to do a video blog for you today because it's been a while since I've done one, and lots of questions and topics that I'm going to cover for you from Facebook today. Let's dive right in. The first question is from Nicole, and she's wondering how I manage stress and anxiety. If you've been reading my blog for a while, you know that that's something that I've been dealing with over the last few years because I'm human, and I think we all deal with it. A few things have really helped me. The first would be writing and having an outlet to talk about it. The second would be my yoga practice and physical activity. And the third would be getting smarter about planning my days. I used to be really bad about saying yes to every opportunity that came my way. And I was just kind of running myself ragged trying to get everything done, but then really getting nothing done well. So I've started saying no to opportunities, which is hard. And I've started getting a little more strict with myself about how I schedule my time and just really chunking out parts of the day where I know that I can be productive without distractions and start to focus a little more. And that really helps with my stress levels because I feel more on top of everything. And then as far as the anxiety, just physical activity helps me more than anything with that. The yoga, the running, clearing my mind. I tell my yoga students all the time that you have to fill your own cup before you can go out and give. And sometimes we feel really selfish for doing that, but it's really necessary because when you are drained, you don't have anything left to give your friends, your families, your coworkers. So even though carving out that 1 hour to go for a run or go to a class or, work out might seem like the hardest thing, it's going to benefit you so much more than you just continuing to put your nose to the grindstone and wearing yourself out. Moving on, the second question is from Tina, and she wants to know what kind of shoes I recommend for strength training and what kind of shoes for running. For strength training, I usually recommend that my athletes and clients wear something that's a little more neutral and not a running shoe, because if you think about it, a lot of running shoes have a thicker heel base, and what that's doing is elevating your foot a little bit, so it's shortening your Achilles and your calf and your hamstring. And when you're doing things like squats, you want to really get that full range of motion. So I recommend a flatter shoe, not like a barefoot shoe or anything, but they're making tons of really great, just more natural, organic shoes these days. And for running, I always recommend that people go to a running store and get fitted for shoes because every single person's gait and foot makeup and anatomy is different. So it's important that you have somebody analyze your gait and tell you what type of shoe you need to be in. And from there, just try on a few different shoes in that category and see what feels the best for you. Over the years, I have run in Brooks and I loved them. But then they stopped feeling good for my foot, and I'm now running in Mizuno's, and I'm really enjoying them, and they feel great on my foot. And someone else asked what kind of shoes I wear for CrossFit, and I rotate between Innovates and a pair of New Balance that are a little bit more minimalist, not the very bottom of the minimalist chain, but pretty close. Unless it's a running wad, and then I wear my running shoes. Moving on. Rebecca wants to know if I have any suggestions on post-workout protein-carb intake ratio and suggestions on certain foods. I am different as a trainer and an athlete in that I am not super crazy about ratios and protein and carbs and all that kind of stuff. I eat really intuitively. I've told you guys this all the time. And after I've had a really hard workout, my body just knows what it needs. If it's dinner, I'm always really craving just some lean protein and lots of roasted vegetables and maybe a sweet potato or something like that. After a tough workout in the evening, if it's breakfast, usually some sort of green protein smoothie. And if it's lunch, maybe like a sandwich with lots of turkey or chicken, or a salad topped with some sort of protein like chicken or salmon. But really, I don't count ratios, and that's just what works for me. I just focus on fueling my body in the way that it feels like it needs fuel. And I've talked about this a lot over the last year in that I changed my diet from a lot more carb and processed soy and vegetarian based to more lean protein and clean eating based, and I feel amazing. So it's working for me right now, and I'm not going to overthink it. The next question is from Holly, and she wants to know if I get regular massage or chiropractic appointments. Lately, she's only been doing CrossFit for her workouts, and her body feels a little bit beat up. She's never done massage and wondering if it will help. I cannot stress how much I'm an advocate for body work. It doesn't have to be massage and chiro. It can also be yoga, acupuncture, dry needling, anything. But taking care of your body and doing that body work will help not only with workout recovery, but also with just how you feel on a day-to-day basis, and also preventing injuries. If you're doing the body work, I guarantee you're going to recover faster, you're going to be a stronger athlete because you're going to feel better and you're not going to feel so jacked up all the time. If massage isn't in your budget, you can do a lot of things at home with foam rollers and lacrosse balls to help release different trigger points in the body. And I have 2 foam rolling videos on the blog, but I need to make you guys a video on using balls as well, because you can really get them deep into the hips and back into the lats and the shoulder blades and the traps and all that kind of stuff, and it feels really good. So I would definitely recommend that you try out some massage if it's in the budget. You know, there's always places in town that have good specials, and also I recommend asking around to see if people have recommendations. So moving on, the next question is from Rachel. She wants to know how I manage to work out nearly every day. I've talked about this a lot, but I think the only way that that's possible for me is that I vary my workouts so much. I'm not doing the same thing every day. If I was CrossFitting every day or running every day, there's no way I would do it every day. And I used to do that kind of stuff. And when I was just running, I probably ran 4 days a week. And then the rest were rest, or I'd go to body pump or something. But what works for me now is that my activities are so diverse. You know, a normal week for me, like this week, had a spin workout, a CrossFit workout, a yoga class, a run. It changes so much that I don't ever feel like I'm beating my body up, because I'm challenging myself in different ways. And if you look at my workout recaps, I usually end up having 2, sometimes 3 days a week that are just yoga. And I usually count those as active rest because it just feels so good in my body. If I had the time, I would practice yoga every single day, but I just don't have time, and I do want to get those other workouts in. So that's how that works for me. I also, you have to think about this. I work in a gym. I teach yoga. I'm there. So it's just really easy for me to knock it out while I'm there. And it's not usually an extra trip to get to the gym or to the yoga studio. Next question is from Raul. I hope that I'm saying your name right. She says, I don't usually focus too much on the actual weight. She just tries to live her healthiest, but she gained 5 pounds over the holidays. She eats a clean vegetarian diet, but wants to know if she should kick up the frequency of her cardio workouts and temporarily back off strength and yoga. And then she also wants to know if it's important to monitor heart rate to achieve weight loss. I usually find that after the holidays, even if I'm feeling a little bit blah or puffy or whatever, it's usually water weight and just being out of your routine. And a couple weeks back in your routine, you usually feel pretty good and it comes off naturally. But if you are needing that extra boost, I would definitely recommend doing a little bit extra cardio, and you can dial back on the other stuff. Cardio is great for just switching it up and challenging yourself and getting your heart rate up high, because getting your heart rate up there does help burn calories. I always advocate keeping the strength training in there though, because your strong muscles help burn more calories. But just in this short interim, if you want to dial back on that stuff and amp up the cardio a little bit, I think that's a great idea. You'll feel good, sweat a little more, and hopefully get back to feeling like yourself. And as far as the heart rate goes, I used to wear a heart rate monitor when I was running, but that was just really more to monitor my effort over a long sustained pace long sustained effort when I was doing long distance. These days, I rarely wear a heart rate monitor. I really just go off of how I feel, especially now that I do CrossFit and more high intensity training. I'm like, I don't need the heart rate monitor to tell me that I am dying right now. My heart rate is very high and this is very challenging. A heart rate monitor can be an interesting tool, but for me, it's an overwhelming amount of data, and I even quit wearing my Garmin. I just go out there and I do it, and it works for me. So moving on. Next, I wanted to say Brittany and Erica both had specific questions about Charlotte, and I will touch on those, either reaching out to you directly, or Brittany wanted to know my top 5 suggestions for spots in Charlotte for takeout, grocery store shopping. I'll do like a written post on that so I can really get into some detail for you, and people that are interested can read it. The last question I want to cover, I saved this one for last, is from Rachel. And she just said finding your ideal body weight. And a couple people also agreed and said they wanted to hear my thoughts on that. It's interesting timing because I just had a conversation with a client on this morning. She is 9 months postpartum and still 5 pounds away from her goal weight. She's lost a ton of weight. She looks amazing. She's super strong. But she's still holding on to these like last 5 pounds that she thinks she needs to lose. But we were talking about the difference between the whole 80-20 philosophy of living your life or being miserable. And one of my fellow bloggers, Erica House, just wrote a post about this week, and it's really great, about, okay, you can push really hard and you can eat so super clean and you can work out, but you're miserable. I mean, you're not living. You're turning down, dates with friends because you want a calorie count, and you're going to the gym even when you don't feel like it because you don't want to skip a workout. At that point, it isn't worth it to be at that weight. I mean, I'd seriously almost just rather be 2 or 3 pounds, 5 pounds over that, but like living my life. That's why we do this healthy living and this fitness, is so we can feel good and we can go out there and just have fun. When you're focused so much on food and weight and workouts all the time, you're not out living. And ultimately, you're doing these workouts so that your body is strong and you can live a strong and a good life. So I think that your ideal body weight is something that isn't a struggle for you to maintain. If you feel like you're constantly trying to lose that last couple pounds, 5 pounds, 10 pounds, maybe, accept that your body is really happier at a slightly, heavier weight. That's hard for us as women. I also would advocate, I've said that word a lot in this post, but I would advocate not always strictly going off what the scale says, because remember how much that can fluctuate based on your hydration levels and just what's going on in your life, and really focus on how your body feels and how your clothes feel instead of the scale so much. I know it's a lot to stomach, but your body knows where it's happiest. And if you're doing the work that you need to do as far as diet and exercise go, and you're eating clean and you have a good workout mix going, then just don't make yourself miserable. It's just not worth it. Life is too short to spend all of your time trying to lose those last 2 or 3 pounds. And if you really are struggling with it, that's the point where I would recommend working with a professional, going to see a personal trainer or a dietitian, or switching up your workouts and just trying something totally new as far as that goes. I don't know how much perspective that I gave you on that, but if you can't tell, holistically, I am not fanatical about things like counting calories, counting protein and carbs, counting pounds, being perfect. When I was talking to my client this morning, she said, "You're the only trainer I've ever had that hasn't told me to eat steamed broccoli and skinless chicken breast." And yes, you can eat those things, and I eat those things seasoned and tasting good, but it's just not the way that you make up a really well-rounded and, fun existence. So I'm all about the 80-20 and, clean eating, clean living 80% of the time, and then live your life, eat those cupcakes, go out for wine the other 20% of the time. You gotta be happy, guys. All right, so I'm gonna wrap up this video post. Have a wonderful weekend. It was great chatting with you guys. Bye-bye.